Guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's video, I'm going to cover everything there is to know about Elementor AI. And unless you've been living under a rock, you pretty much know that AI has taken over the world. Everyone is talking about ChatGPT and all these other AI programs out there. And thankfully, Elementor has not been left behind. They also have their own AI program and it's pretty fantastic. So with the AI program, you can do things like generate images, text, custom code, and you can even do something called referencing a website. In my humble opinion, it is the coolest feature with the Elementor AI. I'm going to talk to you more on that a bit later. But before we delve into the actual use of the AI, let me tell you some basic things first, like how does the AI work? How do you actually get it installed on your website? Now, the thing is, if you're working with Elementor Pro or you have Elementor hosting, you will get a free trial with the Elementor AI. But the way the trial program works is that you'll be assigned a certain amount of credits. I'm not entirely sure how many credits you are offered, but the way the credit system works is that whenever you generate a prompt, whether it's a text prompt or an image prompt, a prompt, by the way, would be the command. So if you say something like, hey, create a blog post for me about blah, 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 that is a prompt. So if you're generating text prompts, that's going to consume 1 credit, as you can see right here. One code prompt is 1 credit. An image prompt is going to be 33 credits, and then a container prompt. Yes, you can create containers with the AI. More on that later. That's going to consume 40 credits. And it also says right here that keep in mind when generating text, code, images, or containers, you may want to use multiple prompts until you reach your desired result. So once you've used up your free trial and you like the Elementor AI, you can then decide to subscribe to one of their 2 plans. They have the starter plan and the power plan. The differences are, with the starter plan, you will have access to 18,000 credits. The power plan gives you 50,000 credits, but then also you have something called the history storage, where if you wrote a prompt and then maybe a few weeks later you wanted to reference or use that exact same prompt, that prompt will be stored in the memory of the AI. With the starter, it goes back 30 days. With the power plan, it goes back 90 days. A few more things to mention really quickly is that with the AI program, all you basically need is 1 subscription. If you have multiple websites, that doesn't mean you have to subscribe multiple times to the Elementor AI. All you need is 1 subscription, and that subscription will work across all the Elementor websites that you have. However, keep in mind that those websites will need to be also running Elementor Pro as well. If you have a website that doesn't have Elementor Pro, the AI isn't going to work on it, so keep that in mind. Now, if you were to ask me which of these 2 plans would you go for, the starter or power, in my humble opinion, 18,000 credits is a lot. So I'll start off with the starter plan first and then the power plan later if I need to upgrade. Unless you're building websites for multiple people, like you're like an agency or a freelance developer, starter should be just fine for you. Let me mention one thing that I do not like about the AI program, and that is, you can see right now, this is my account with Elementor. I'm on the Elementor AI starter program, and you can see right here, it's 18,000 credits. However, I have already used the AI to generate text and images, like I've basically used it. However, there is no way for me to keep track of how many credits I actually have left. Like, it's not updated in real time. According to Elementor, what they'll do is that once you've reached about 75 or 80% of your credits, then you will get an email telling you that, oh, your credits are about to finish. Which, in my opinion, it's okay, but it's really not efficient. Okay, I wish Elementor would introduce a new feature where you can actually keep track of how much credits you've actually used. I think that's going to make a whole lot more sense. So please keep that in mind. One final thing is that before the AI can work on your website, make sure that in your settings, your Elementor settings, under features, make sure that under ongoing experiments, the build with AI feature is set to active. And then also under stable features, the Flexbox container is also set to active as well. Make sure those 2 are active and the Elementor AI should be able to work for you. So with that being said, let's now get started with how you would use the Elementor AI on your WordPress website. Let me show you how you create images with the Elementor AI. I'm on my homepage right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the image element in here. You'll see the link right here that says create with AI. I'm going to click in there. And now the thing about the AI is that when it comes to creating images, you can be as specific, as complex, as detailed, or as simple as you want to be. As an example, right down here, you can see we have the image, and this is the prompt. It says, nighttime cityscapes of New York with light trails streaking across busy streets, aesthetic, complex, colorful, street level view, 4K, and so on. So you can be as detailed as this, or you can be very, very simple. Like this guy right here that says fisherman after a long day at sea. So there are different ways how you can ask the Elementor AI to create your images, and you're simply limited by your own imagination. So in my case, I want to generate an image of a web developer. So I'm going to type in web developer. Okay. And if you're like me who lacks any sort of creativity, we actually have a help button, the enhance prompt link right here that we can click, asking the Elementor AI to further improve on the prompt that we've written. So I'm going to click in there. And now the Elementor AI is going to offer additional suggestions like, okay, how about a creative and dynamic image for a web developer's portfolio? Use a combination of computer screens, keyboards, and coding snippets to convey the technical nature of the job, while incorporating lively and eye-catching colors like orange and blue, blah, 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 blah. Consider showing the developer in action with a facial expression that denotes focus and success. Okay, that's that's very, very interesting. I'm just going to leave it as it is, and let's see what the AI will generate for us. But you also have additional options like the image type. So you can go with photographic, background, handmade, and so on. Feel free to experiment with the other options, but most of the time, you're probably going to be going with the photographic option. So I'm going to go with photographic, and then style, I'll go with landscape. Aspect ratio, I'm going to go with 16:9. Let's go ahead now and generate the images, and the AI says bringing your vision to life. Okay. It's usually going to be 4 variations. And these are the variations being generated right now. And there it is. Okay, so we've got 4 options in here. And I like the 3rd and 4th options the most. I'm going to go with the 4th option. I think for me, it's better because we can see the back of the developer as opposed to actually seeing their face. So you do have other options as well. Even if you like the image, you can make additional changes. So right here, you're going to see the link that says edit for that image. So if I click in there, I'm going to have access to 6 additional options. Like we can expand the image. You can do this thing called the generative fill, where if you click on it, you can choose a part of the image where you want to add maybe something like an additional object. So for example, if I wanted to add maybe an image of a cat or an illustration of a cat, for example, on a table, I could highlight the table right here and then type in cat in here and then generate. However, it doesn't always work. Okay, I want you to know that, all right? Sometimes it's going to give you a very, very good image. Sometimes it's not going to give you anything. So that's one thing I want you to be aware of if you're going to use the generative fill option. However, the good news is that most of the time, you may not even need to use the generative fill, because rather than trying to add additional objects to your image, you can just describe everything you want in your image with the initial prompt. I think that will be a better way of actually generating your images. So I'm going to click back, and then you have resize, you have variations, remove background, replace background. You have all these additional options as well. But I'm just going to go ahead now and click on use image. And there it is. We've gotten our image with the web developer with all the computer screens. He's looking all very focused. He's working. And there it is. That's pretty much how you can create images by making use of the Elementor AI. Now, again, do not forget that when you're creating your images, okay, you have additional options like the image type as well as this style. So depending on the type you choose, for example, if I chose, let's say, handmade, the style right now, you will see we have additional options like doodle, line art, oil painting. If I chose, let's say, 3D, on the style, now you can see it's changed to clay, digital, or origami. So the kinds of images you can create with the Elementor AI, there's a lot of them. You're only limited by your own creativity. And of course, with style, you also have the aspect ratio as well. So feel free to experiment with all these options, and I guarantee you that you will be hard pressed to not find the kind of image that they're trying to generate with the Elementor AI. To generate text with the Elementor AI, it is very, very straightforward. I'm on my homepage right here, and I'm going to drag the text editor. I'm going to drop it inside. And just like with the image option right here, you will see the write with AI. So I'm going to click in there. And now the AI interface has loaded up. And now right here, you can see we have 5 suggested prompts. We can say, okay, write a product description for. We can say create a blog post for, or craft an about us section for, offer a few sentences to invite visitors to, and then write microcopy for a submission form that includes, like, you've got various kinds of prompts that you can write to basically tell the Elementor AI what it is that you want it to write for you. In our case, I'm going to say write a short paragraph, all right, inviting visitors to sign up for our weekly newsletter. Okay, just as an example. So I'm going to say generate the text. The AI, it's working, and there you go. So right here, you can see it says, welcome to our text editor widget. Obviously, well, we don't want that to appear. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Okay, so just be very careful when you're generating text with the AI, because sometimes it can make mistakes. Okay, so just make sure that you actually read through the text it's generated for you. But everything else looks pretty good. It says, are you looking for a way to stay up to date with the latest news and updates in your field of interest? Sign up for our weekly newsletter. Our newsletter readers receive exclusive access to industry insights and so on. So we can obviously make this longer if we want to, or we could even make it shorter. So let's make it shorter, and let's see what the AI will do. And it's very, very short right now. Get the latest industry updates and expert insights delivered straight to your inbox every week. Join our community now. Okay. Other options like simplify language and then fix spelling and grammar, you have access to those. Or you could even change the tone. So we have like casual, confidence, formal, friendly, motivational, inspirational. I'm going to go with playful. Let's see what it's going to generate for us. So join our community and never miss a beat. Get the coolest industry updates and expert insights. So it's not really that playful as such, but anyways, you can try it on your own. I guess it really depends on the kind of text you're trying to generate as well. And of course, you can also translate to a variety of languages. And trust me when I say that you will find many, many languages in here. You even have like Czech, Danish, even Hungarian. Like, sure, there are certain languages like Swahili or maybe even like Slovakian, which you're not going to find in here. But for the most part, there is a 95% chance that the language you're trying to translate to will be included in here because it has all the major languages. So we're not translating anything. I'm just going to go with the use text. And there it is. That's how you can generate text using the Elementor AI. But keep in mind that it isn't just restricted to the text editor widget. Basically, any kind of widget that has to do with text, you can use the Elementor AI. So as an example, with the heading element, I can drop that in here. And then again, right here, title, I'm going to say write with AI. And just like with the text editor, we now have new prompts specifically for the headline element. So we can say things like craft a catchy slogan for, or write a strong section header for, and then you have the other 3 options in there as well. So Basically, any kind of text widget you're trying to work with, the Elementor AI can generate the text for you. And of course, depending on the type of text, you will have access to different types of prompts. But this is how you would create a text with the Elementor AI. All right, so now let's talk about how you can generate custom code by making use of the Elementor AI. But before we do that, it is important for you to understand how to interact with the AI when it comes to creating code. Because remember that the kinds of results the AI would give you are only as good as the prompts you are able to provide. So if you're somebody who has no background in coding, you do not know what HTML is, you do not know what the differences are between PHP and JavaScript, then you might struggle to be able to communicate effectively with the Elementor AI. And that's why in this video, I want to give you a very quick crash course on what HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP are before we move on to the next video where we'll now begin to work with the code. Because again, it is important for you to understand what these things are. Now, if you're somebody who has a background in coding or you know what these things are, by all means, you can skip this video and simply move on to the next. But if you do not have a background in coding, I will encourage you to watch this video. So let's begin with HTML. Now, HTML stands for the Hypertext Markup Language. It's basically, think of this analogy, right? Imagine the human body, your human body was a website, right? HTML will be the skeleton. It's basically the backbone, the framework of any kind of website out there. It's HTML. So HTML will form the backbone or skeletal framework of every web page on the internet. Everything starts with HTML. Now, what about CSS? CSS stands for the Cascading Style Sheets. And if we're going to compare CSS with HTML, you can think of HTML as the skeleton, while CSS would now be like the skin, the muscles, basically anything that makes the human body more attractive. That would be CSS. So CSS will form the core styling framework of every web page on the internet. So when it comes to you designing your website, adding colors and animations and backgrounds and things like that, all that is CSS. You can see here, color, backgrounds, hover effects, animations, font styling. These are all added by making use of CSS. But what about JavaScript? What exactly is JavaScript? Well, this is what we call a scripting language used both on the client side and the server side that allows you to make web pages interactive. So your website will typically be the client side, but then your website also has a web server. That's what we call the server side. So whenever we're trying to create any sort of interaction on our site, we're going to make use of JavaScript. So going back to the whole human body analogy, we've talked about the skeleton and the muscles and the skin, but now what if you wanted the human body to move, to like jump or run or dance or do any sort of activity? This is where JavaScript will come into play. So what can we do with JavaScript? Well, you can do things like you can show or hide information, you can zoom in or zoom out, you can also display animations, display a timer, you can create games and so much more. Now, PHP, this is the last one. PHP is also a scripting language used on the server side that allows you to interact with a web server. So if you wanted your website to interact with some sort of web server out there on the internet, you would make use of PHP. So basically, think of PHP, going back to the human body analogy, think of PHP as the language that would allow a human being to interact with another human being. Communication. That's basically what PHP is all about. So anytime a website or web browser needs to interact with a server, PHP will be executed. So for examples, all right, if you're trying to authenticate a username or a password, you would use PHP. Authenticate cookies, you would use PHP. If you're trying to retrieve content, maybe like, download or upload from a database, you would use PHP, chatbots, social networks, all these kinds of things, they would use PHP. So a very quick summary of these 4 blocks: HTML will be the backbone of your web page, CSS will deal with the design, JavaScript will deal with functionality, and then PHP will deal with the communication. So I hope that in this very quick crash course, I've given you some ideas on what HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP are. And now let's move on to where I will now show you how you can create different types of code by making use of the Elementor AI. All right, so now let's take a look at the different ways how we can generate code with the Elementor AI. And I'm going to give you several examples. The first one here would involve HTML. So let's assume that we wanted our subscribers or readers or users to be able to download a particular document on our website. Let's assume, for example, it is the nmap-2.txt file. We want to embed this document on our homepage, but also allow users to download the file. One thing we could do is, first of all, we could copy the URL because you're going to need the link to this file, okay? And now let's go over here to the homepage. I'm going to search for the HTML widget. Okay, let's drop that in there. And now click on Edit with AI. And now I am going to write my prompt. So I'm going to say, write code to embed this file and also provide a download link. And now I am going to paste the link to that file. So let's go ahead now, generate the code, and let's see what the AI will provide for us. And there it is. All right, so here is a suggested text for embedding the file and providing a download link as HTML snippet. So I'm going to go ahead right now, grab this code. This is all we need, starting from the embed link right there, as you can see. So I'm going to go ahead, copy this, close, and now in here, we're going to paste the link right there, and there it is. So I'm going to go ahead right now, update, and let's see if it actually works. I'm going to refresh my page, and there it is. So you can see right now we have the file embedded, and of course we also have the download link right there. Now, obviously, I know this doesn't look that attractive. You could spend time to provide some CSS styling, maybe put this inside of a column. You can stylize the link file, turn it into a button, and so on. So there are other ways how you can make this look better. But the point here is we have HTML code that would allow users to simply download this particular file. Now, if we go back, let me just close this, okay? If I go back to add the HTML element right here, and I click on Edit with AI, we have other prompts. So for example, you can write code for a Google Analytics event. You can create iframes as well. You can embed code from Facebook pixels and HTML code that will embed the following PDF into a web page, and then you provide the link to the PDF and so on. So you've got all these examples in here with HTML. However, from my experience, I know that most Elementor users would want to use the AI to create CSS code, whether it's to change the color of text or maybe even add some animation. So as an example, all right, let's say we want to create an animation on this particular image such that when users will hover the mouse on the image, it's going to rotate clockwise 360 degrees, right? So check this out. Okay, I'm going to click on the image right here, edit the image, go to the advanced tab, come all the way down here to custom CSS, click on the edit with AI, and now check this out. I'm going to say on hover, okay, rotate the image clockwise, okay, 360 degrees. All right, let's go ahead now, generate the code. And let's insert, let's see. And for some reason, it's not working. I'm not quite sure why this is the case. Let me just go ahead and update this first of all. Okay, let's go back in here. Let's refresh this page. Sometimes you may get bugs with the AI, unfortunately. And all right, it's not working. Let's go back in here and I'm going to remove the code. Okay, let's try that one more time. Edit with AI. So I'm going to say on hover, rotate the image clockwise by 360 degrees. Okay, let's generate the code. Okay. And okay, so unfortunately, I'm not quite sure why this is happening. We're not seeing any code in here, and unfortunately, sometimes these things happen. Okay, so one thing I'm going to do right now is I'm simply going to close this, and let's just refresh this page. Okay, it's actually a good thing that this is actually happening live. You can see for yourself that the AI doesn't always work perfectly. Okay, so I've refreshed. And now let us try one more time. I'm going to go over here to edit the image, go to advanced, custom CSS. Okay, so we still have the code right there. I'm going to remove that. Okay. And I'll click on edit with AI. Okay. And now let's just try something different. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and click on the first prompt in here on hover, animate 20% bigger, rotate 10 degrees counterclockwise. Okay. Let's generate the code. All right, let's insert that one. And okay, fine. So now we can see that the AI has started to work. The code it's providing is actually working. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and remove this. I do apologize for this bug. I could easily have cut this particular part of the video, but I want you to see that in reality, sometimes the Elementor AI would misbehave. It's not going to give you code. So you got to figure out different ways how you can get it to work. So you can either try to refresh the page and then simply use one of the pre-built prompts for the AI to get it working again. So now let's try our own code, okay? Edit with AI. All right, and now I'm going to say on hover, rotate the image 360 degrees clockwise. Okay, hopefully this will work right now. Generate the code. Okay, insert, and finally now you can see it's actually working. Okay, that is a sigh of relief. All right, it's working. However, I want you to think about this. Okay, yeah, it's working, but it's a bit too fast, as you can see, right? So how about we try to slow down the rotation? So I'm going to go back again in here, edit with AI. Okay. And now I am going to go back and say on hover, rotate the image by 360 degrees clockwise and slow down the animation. Okay. So we've added an extra property to the actual animation. So I'm going to go ahead right now, generate code again. And let's see. Okay, insert. And there it is. Look at that. Now it is slower, as you can see. And it's actually a lot smoother. So here's the thing, okay? I want you to try and play around with some of the values that you might see. Even though you don't know CSS code, when you look at the actual code itself, you can see some of the keywords in there. You can see rotate by 360 degrees. However, check this out. In here, it says animation rotate 3 seconds ease in out. What would happen if we change the 3 seconds to, let's say, 7 seconds instead? Do you see that? Now it is taking a lot longer for the image to rotate by 360 degrees, 7 seconds to be precise. So that's the thing. You don't know CSS code, but once the AI has written the code for you and you want to make certain kinds of adjustments, maybe change the value of the degree, maybe change the timing of the animation, things like that, I want to encourage you to be bold, to be brave. Take a look at the code. Look at those particular values in there, like 360 degrees, 7 seconds. Play around with those values and you're going to get some very, very interesting results. To better help you write more effective CSS prompts, I will strongly encourage you to spend some time on this site right here, w3schools.com/CSS. In here, you will see like the key terminologies and properties used whenever animation is involved. So things like the animation name, the animation duration, delay, iteration count. What exactly are these? When you scroll down and you begin to read, you will understand what these properties are and what they do. And trust me, it is not difficult at all. It is very, very easy to understand. So when you know what these properties are, you'll be in a much better position to write better prompts. So because instead of saying, don't run the animation until after 2 seconds or something like that, you can just say, set the animation delay to 2 seconds. Now the AI will be able to understand exactly what it is that you're looking to achieve. What if, for example, you wanted to repeat the number of times the animation ran? You will just say, set the animation iteration count to 3, 4, or 5. This way, the AI will understand perfectly what it is that they're trying to say, and it's going to give you much better results. So I'll highly encourage you to spend some time to jump in here, take a look at these animation properties. Also, check out down here, you'll have the CSS translations, transforms as well. I'll encourage you to spend some time to take a look at the values in here, because you can see right here, you can create some really fantastic animations, but it is important that you understand the language, the right kinds of words and terminologies to use. So please, I will encourage you to spend some time on w3schools.com and learn some basic CSS animation terminology. Now, the second example I want to show you is inspired by one of my Elementor students who wanted to change the color of one of their titles from black to red once the website was viewed in mobile version. So basically, black text color for desktop version, and then for mobile version, red color. Now the thing is, you cannot do this directly with Elementor, but with the AI, you can. So let me give you an example. Okay, let's assume we wanted to change this color right here. Do you want to build a WordPress website? Now it is black, but let's assume that once the screen size goes to below 1000 pixels, we want to change it to red. How are we going to do this? So I'm going to click on the title element right there, okay? And then advanced, come down here to custom CSS, and now click on edit with AI. And now take a look at this. I'm going to say, change the color of the title from black to red when the screen size goes below, or when the screen size is below 1000 pixels, px. Okay, I'm going to go ahead right now, generate the code, and there it is. Okay, I'm going to go ahead right now and then insert, let's update, and let's see if this actually works. So let me first of all do a hard refresh. Okay, so it is black, fine. However, when I begin to reduce the screen size to now take a look at that, at 1000 pixels or less, now you can see it is red. We expand the screen size, it goes back to black. Reduce, it goes back to red. So this is just another example of what you could do with the Elementor AI. Now, like I said earlier, you cannot do this directly with Elementor. What I mean here is, if you were to try, viewing the screen size, so you come down here, you go to responsive mode, and then you switch to like tablet, for example, right? Like if you tried going in here and saying, okay, specifically for the title, let's go to style and then typography or text color rather right here. If you try changing the color in here, it's going to be the same color regardless of whether or not it's viewed on desktop, tablet, or in the mobile view. It's all going to be the same. That's why I said you cannot do this directly with Elementor. However, with the AI, as you can see, you can actually accomplish that. Next, let me show you how we can create sections and columns with Elementor AI on our page. So I am on the page right here, and let's say I wanted to create a brand new section. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Build with AI button right here. Okay, and then on this link right here, I'm going to press the /, and now right here, you can see the different types of prompts that we can use to generate our content. So we can generate like a services section with a list layout. We could generate an accordion style FAQ block, full width call to action, statistics display, and so on. So what I'm going to do here is okay, let's imagine we wanted to create a section with 3 columns, but it's going to be a services section. All right. And let's imagine it's going to be for a web design company. So basically, the kind of services that a web design company would offer, 3 of them. So I'm going to say a services section with 3 columns for a web design company. Okay. So it's very, very straightforward. But however, over here, we do have access to this link that says enhance the prompt. So when we click on it, we're basically telling the AI to make the prompt a bit more interesting, give it a bit more detail. So we now have a 3-column services section for a web design company website with icons, headings, and text for each service, explaining the benefits in a modern, clean style, generate optimized content, emphasizing custom solutions, innovation, and customer service. Okay, that sounds perfect. I'm going to go ahead now and hit generate. And let's see exactly what the Elementor AI will do for us. So typically, the AI will generate 3 different layouts, and then it's going to be up to us to choose the one that we like the most. We will also have the option to regenerate. In case we're not happy with the results, we can tell the Elementor AI to regenerate. And okay, so we now have 3 different layouts. Okay, so this is the first one right here, our services, web design, marketing, and then customer service. Okay, not bad. Let's check out the second design. Okay, I design and develop experiences. So we have custom solutions. There doesn't seem to be a title or a header for the second and third columns, but that's okay, we can add those. And then the third one right here, we can see we have custom solutions, innovation, and then customer service. At the end of the day, I'm going to go with the very first option in here. I like this one the most. So we can go ahead right now and use the layout. And there it is. Just like that, we've gotten ourselves a services section. And of course, we can spend some time to edit, clean the section. Maybe we're not happy with the color of the fonts being used. Maybe we're not happy with the image. We can always make all these changes later. But let me show you how we can generate one more section. So I'm going to come back down here, click on Build with AI. And now here I am going to say a call to action section. Okay, inviting visitors to subscribe to the weekly newsletter. Okay, the tone should be informal and friendly. Okay, so basically we're saying, hey, subscribe to our weekly newsletter, but we want to make the tone very informal and friendly. We don't want it to be, too formal. Okay, so let's see what the AI will do for us. I'm not going to click on the enhance prompt. I think this is pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead right now and generate. And let's see what the AI will do for us. Obviously, you can add additional descriptions like, add the icon of an email or a form or something like that, just to make it a bit more exciting. But let's see. Okay, we have something very interesting right here. Okay, never miss our weekly juicy updates. Receive a summary of our hottest content along with exclusive materials just for you. Sign up now. Okay, not bad. Let's see the second one. Okay, join our newsletter. Looking to stay connected. Subscribe today and don't miss out. Fine. And we have a third one right here, which isn't bad at all. Okay. Stay in the loop with our newsletter, get updates, sign up for newsletter today. All right, I'm going to go with the second one in here. I think I like this one the most. Or we can tell the AI to regenerate again. Okay, so let's see. Let's spend a few more minutes to see the new layouts that the AI will generate. So don't be afraid to ask the AI to give you more examples, all right? So let's see, we have one here already. And I don't like the background color. I think the pink is a bit too strong. But if we were to change the background color to, let's say, black, this might not be bad at all. And then we have the second one right here. Okay. This headline grabs visitors' attention. Welcome to Elementor AI. Okay. Okay, not bad. And now we have the third option in here. And all right, so now we can see that this has absolutely nothing to do with asking users to sign up for a weekly newsletter. So you can see right there that the Elementor AI, again, isn't perfect. You will begin to see a few issues here and there. But nevertheless, let's go back to the first option in here, the second layout. I'm going to go ahead and use this one instead. And there it is, just like that. We've been able to create a services section and also a newsletter section. Don't forget that when you click on the / button, you have access to more examples of the different kinds of prompts. So you can create pretty much any kind of section that you have in mind, a statistics display, a pricing table, about us, a features block as well, carousel testimonial, and so much more. But this is exactly how you would create sections and columns and containers using the Elementor AI. All right, so let's take a look at the final feature for the Elementor AI. And in my humble opinion, this is probably the coolest feature, and it's called referencing a website. The idea here is that, say, for example, I'm on an external site. This is labcyber.com, and I'm scrolling through, and down here, I see this particular section, and I say to myself, wow, I like the design of this particular section. I wish I could replicate something like this on my own site. Well, guess what? With the Elementor AI, we can do exactly that. Amazing, right? So how exactly am I going to accomplish this? Well, I'm going to go back to my Elementor website, go back to clicking Build with AI. Now, instead of simply generating a prompt right here, I'm going to click on the plus button here that says reference a website. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And now all I have to do is to grab the URL up here, go back in here, and then simply paste, submit, and there it is. So now the AI is going to visit labcyber.com, and it's going to pull the front page, pull all the elements. You can see right there, it's preparing the page. So depending on how complicated the page might be, it could take anywhere between 5 seconds to maybe even 30 seconds. But you can see right now, it's already pulled in the first section, the second one right here. Let's scroll down. And okay, so this is the section that we want to replicate, right? You can see it is ready. Now notice that as I'm moving my mouse around, you can see certain sections being highlighted. Those are the areas that are currently being highlighted. Now we want to grab this entire section, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my mouse at the top left corner right here. Now you can see everything has been highlighted. And then if I move the mouse further to the left, now the entire section, everything now will be copied, it will be highlighted, right? So I'm going to click right there, okay, to select. And now right down here, I'm going to click on apply, okay? And then I am simply going to go ahead and generate. And now let us wait and see what the Elementor AI will generate for us. Again, it's going to be about 3 different layouts. And while it's loading, let me just mention that the results you get are going to vary quite a lot, because it's going to depend on whether or not the site that you're trying to replicate, if it was built with WordPress, if it was built with Elementor. Obviously, if it's built with Elementor, you will get much better results than if it wasn't built with Elementor or even with WordPress. But right now, you can see that we've already gotten something very similar to what we have right here. Yes, the colors are a little bit different, but the structure in general is quite accurate. You can see we have the second layout right there, which is quite similar to the first one. I think there's a difference in the kind of icons being used, but again, we could change those on our own. Let's wait for the third layout to generate and see. And it doesn't look like it's going to be able to generate a third layout. So, all right, so we're stuck with these two layouts, but that's perfectly fine in my humble opinion. I'm going to go ahead right now, choose the first layout, and just like that, we have gotten this right here. So it's never going to be 100% accurate. Obviously, in here right now, I might need to change the colors of the icons, maybe change the font size, the font family, things like that. But you can see that it's actually quite accurate. However, let's check out another example, okay? I'm going to go and try to replicate this section right here. Now, obviously, you can tell this section is a bit more complicated, right? We have a background image in here. We have what looks like some sort of like a background video looping in the background. So let's try to replicate this entire section. So let's go back in here again, build with AI, and then reference the website. I'm going to paste the URL one more time, submit. Now it should be a lot faster because, you know, Elementor just referenced this site. So, okay, preparing the page should take a lot faster. As you can see right now, it's running to 100%. It's done. Okay, so now let's try to grab this entire section in here. Again, this is going to be far more complicated, but let's see how well the AI would perform. I have already tested this before, so spoiler alert, it's not going to be quite as accurate as the first example because, again, this is a lot more complicated. Also note that, please, the AI will not be able to pull or replicate the background video or the background image. It will do its best to provide something that's similar, but you're not going to get the exact kind of image or the exact kind of background video and so on. You will need to upload those yourself. So it is taking quite a while for the AI to, okay, well, just as I said that, it's giving us 3 different results. So this is the first one right there. This is the second one, which looks closer than the first. And then this is the third result right here. And I think that the second layout here is the closest. So I'm going to go ahead, use this layout. And again, it's not quite accurate with, with what we have right here. Obviously, the column right here are a lot taller. We don't have the background video, the background image. Those we can add later. And also you can see that with the first column, the inner columns in here, we have 2 and then 1 on the second row. In here, we basically just have 3 rows. So I'm still going to have to do some cleanup in here, but the general idea here is that you at least have like a starting point, right? You don't have to start from scratch, build in this entire section. You can try to replicate using the AI, and then you might get something that's like 50% done or 60% done, and then you can jump in and then finish building out the entire section to look like exactly what we have over here. So again, the results you're going to get will vary massively on what it is that you're trying to replicate, whether it's built with Elementor, whether it's built with WordPress, or maybe it's built using custom code. So the results are going to vary. But the good news here is that this is only the first version. Imagine how powerful this particular tool is going to be, say, 6 months or a whole year from now. It's only going to get better and better and better. But this is exactly how you can try to replicate some sort of a section or a design you've seen on an external site on your own site by making use of the Elementor AI reference a website feature. Thank you for watching. Let's talk about how you can access the AI history. So the way it works is that you can access any kind of code or prompt that you've generated within the last 30 days or maybe even 90 days, depending on the plan that you're working with. So in my case right now, remember we just worked with this particular image. So one thing I could do is I could go to edit the image, and then right here where I would click to edit with AI, I click in there. And then right here on the right up here, you will see the history panel. So I can click in there. All right. And now Elementor will show the entire history over the last 30 days that I have worked with basically on this particular image. You can see all the prompts that I used right there. And because I'm on the starter plan that only stores the history for 30 days, it's asking me to upgrade to 90 days. But right there, you can see the entire history of all the prompts that I created specifically for this particular image. So that's how you can access the history panel for any of the elements that you've used the Elementor AI with. All right, so to round this up, let me introduce to you two pages that you might find very, very useful. The first one here is the AI prompt bank for Elementor. And in here, you will see examples of different types of prompts for text creation, custom CSS, custom code, as well as other examples for HTML snippets. And then you also have the prompt library where you will see different types of prompts that will generate different types of ideas. So under images in here, we do have the prompts to create these. We have the 3 balls, serial combination, marketing strategy, illustration, icon, vector cycle. So you can either just copy the prompt by clicking on the button right there, or you can go to the notes and get some other information about the particular prompt. So you've all got these examples in here. You've got the ones for the text as well. All right, so different types of prompts for text, and then code, and then of course build for containers. So I will try to provide the links to these particular pages because they're very, very useful for giving you ideas on how to create prompts that will get the AI to do what exactly it is that you're trying to accomplish. So I thought I'll just very, very quickly mention the prompt bank as well as the prompt library for Elementor. Well, there it is. We've come to the end of today's video where I've shown you how to make use of the Elementor AI program. And if you enjoyed the video, please do consider giving it a thumbs up and share the video with anyone whom you feel might benefit from the video. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, how do you intend on using the Elementor AI, put them down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. If you're new here to the channel, welcome. My name is Alex. I make tutorials on Elementor, WordPress, website development, and so on. So if you enjoy this kind of content, do consider subscribing and of course hit the bell so that you're notified whenever I upload a new video. Stay safe out there and I'll talk to you next time. Cheers.